welcome to the whole 9 yards. Hello everyone, I'm Ralph Ventre, excited to join you for the 20th season of Northeast Conference football. It's a new year with new opportunities, but it'll be the same hard-hitting action on the gridiron. We'll start by previewing Week 1 of the 2015 season. All 7 Northeast Conference teams will kick it off in Week 1. There will be 2 matchups against our friends from the Patriot League, and one NEC team is taking a step up to the FBS level. We'll run down all 7 Week 1 matchups next in the No Huddle preview. We start at the top of the NEC alphabet with the Bryant Bulldogs. The Bulldogs, the Northeast Conference's preseason favorite, opened their 2014 campaign with a statement win at Stony Brook. This year, the opponent is not as prestigious, but the Bulldogs are certainly salivating at the opportunity to kick off a new, promising campaign in front of a home crowd in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Coming off their best season at the Division I level, Bryant opens up against Division II opponent American International. It'll be the only chance for Bryant fans to see their team play at home until the conference schedule kicks off in October. That's because the Bulldogs have a daunting non-league slate that lies ahead. Following the opener and a bye week, the Bulldogs will play 3 straight on the road, visiting Brown, Coastal Carolina, and Monmouth. They'll play a 5th non-conference game on October 31st. That one will also be on the road at Patriot League member Holy Cross. Before worrying about the tall task ahead, the Bulldogs need to take care of business against AIC on opening day in Smithfield. The good news for head coach Marty Fine is that he enters the 2015 season with experience at all of his offensive skill positions. Quarterback Dalton Easton returns, as does the two-headed monster of Paul Canaveri and Rico McCray. On the flank, they have all Northeast Conference selection Chad Ward, and at tight end, they have the veteran John Lavin, who had a breakout campaign in 2014. If you're a fan of Bryant's defense, the one thing you may want to track during the Week 1 game against AIC is who will fill the shoes of Jeff Kovitz. Kovitz graduated this past May after setting the Northeast Conference's all-time career record in quarterback sacks. The FCS All-American certainly leaves a void up front, but now it's time to watch who steps up and fills it. Bryant, AIC, September 5th, Bulldog Stadium. Moving down the alphabet to Central Connecticut State. The Blue Devils are gearing up for year 2 of the Pete Rossimondo era. The Blue Devils shocked the FCS world in Week 1 last year, taking down 2013 national finalist Towson on the road. This year, Pete Rossimondo and CCSU opened their season at home under the Friday night lights on a root field in New Britain. The first question that Blue Devils fans would probably like answered is who will replace All-American running back Rob Holloman? Well, the good news is Pete Rossimondo has an experienced option to turn to. It's junior Brendan Litton. Litton spelled Holloman on occasion last year and had success while doing so. He may not be as lightning fast as Holloman, few players actually are, but Litton, a big bruising tailback, should be fun to watch as the year progresses. CCSU returns a number of key weapons on defense. The one player in particular to focus on during opening weekend would be cornerback Javon Elmore. A preseason All-NEC pick, Elmore will go up against one of the Patriot League's top receivers. Lehigh's Troy Pelletier gained over 800 yards receiving as a freshman. Will Elmore and the Blue Devils get the best of Pelletier and the Mountain Hawks? Well, you find out Friday night, September 4th, right here on NEC Front Row. We'll have that game live, free of charge, of course, from B to C and now to D as we tackle Duquesne's Week 1 matchup. The good news for the Dukes, they appear to be healthier than they have at any point during the past 12 months. When we last saw Duquesne on ESPN3 in their regular season finale against Robert Morris last November, Jerry Schmidt and company were down to their fourth-string quarterback as injuries decimated them at that position. Not to mention, before last season even started, they lost two linebackers for the year. Two linebackers who had all NEC credentials on their resume. Aaron Reed and Christian Kuntz. Well, Reed and Kuntz are back, along with fellow linebacker Nathan Stone, who was a finalist for the FCS National Freshman of the Year Award in 2014. And don't forget about Sam Martello, a reliable veteran who has a knack for the big play. Those are just a few of the names that Jerry Schmidt is happy to have healthy. With a healthy roster, Schmidt and the Dukes will try their luck against Division II Kentucky Christian in Week 1. After the season opening tune-up at Rooney Field, the Dukes will then hit the road for 3 consecutive weeks, starting with a Week 2 matchup at Bucknell, which was slotted for a second-place finish in the Patriot League. And we've reached the midpoint of our No Huddle preview segment. Moving on to Robert Morris. The first order of business for Coach Banaszak and his veteran leaders is to get the sour taste from last year's one-win season out of their mouths.
You know, last year was something none of us thought was going to happen, but it happened, and, you know, Nick and I talk about it all the time. It might have been a good thing for us. You know, it's kind of like a little shock for us, and, you know, we're kind of ready to re-amp things up a bit and get back after it and try to win some games this year.
One way Robert Morris hopes to win games this year is by relying on its rushing attack. Ramses Owens showed great potential as a freshman rusher, and the veteran offensive line in front of him should translate into success on the ground. Coach Banaszak thinks a strong run game will also help Robert Morris in another way.
Our running game this year will help our quarterback tremendously. With Ramses Owens coming back against a veteran offensive line, the running game should be able to support a quarterback that doesn't have an awful lot of experience.
So the Colonials will get their chance to take a big step forward in Week 1 against Dayton. Live on NEC Front Row, September 5th. The next stop in our No Huddle preview takes us to Sacred Heart. The two-time defending NEC champion Pioneers will kick off the 2015 season at home against Division II St. Anselm. The Pioneers have won 19 of 25 games over the past 2 seasons. One of the constants has been starting quarterback R.J. Noel. He was under center for all 19 of those victories, and he's back for his junior season in 2015. One question that the Pioneers must answer on offense is who will be the primary ball carrier. Former FCS All-American Kashada Spence has graduated, as has academic All-American Sean Bell, the top 2 running backs from the championship run. Sacred Heart will also have to plug some holes up front. as only Nick Bartoli returns on the offensive line, but head coach Mark Nofri seems to have gotten a feel of who will step up and step in this past spring.
You know, we lost 26 seniors this past fall, and you know, we got some firepower returning. We got some young kids that stepped up this spring, and I think that's what spring was about, to find out, you know, who's going to replace some of the kids that left and kind of find a role for everyone. And they came out in spring good, and I feel good about the kids we got coming back, with some of the new kids coming up as well.
In as much excitement as the Sacred Heart offense can generate, the Pioneers know that if a third consecutive conference crown is in the works, then the defense will be a major part of it. Veteran linebacker Connor Candido is confident in his defense's ability and its work ethic.
We just try to harp on our ability to outwork teams. I think when it comes down to it, we just want to play as hard as we can, and I think that's really what we hone in on, like our meeting rooms in a sense. I think what's done us well the past 2 years is that we've had the right mindset. I think if you want to play good defense in this conference, you have to come out and you have to be more physical on the offenses.
2 games remaining on the Week 1 docket to preview. We go to Loretto, Pennsylvania, where St. Francis U will open the season against Patriot League member Georgetown. Chris Valerio and the Red Flash hope to keep the good times rolling. SFU is in the midst of its most successful 3-year span in its FCS history. One of the driving forces behind this successful stretch is the Red Flash's ability to run the football as effectively as anyone in the nation. First, it was All-American Kyle Harbridge. Then he graduated, and Kahari Dixon stepped in and stepped up. Dixon was a finalist for the National FCS Offensive Player of the Year Award in 2014, and he won the NCAA Statistical Championship for rush yards per game. With the Red Flash, it all starts with the run game, and they have a pretty formidable face leading the way. Another reason for the Red Flash's improved fortunes over the past few years has been the new culture that Chris Valerio has instilled in Loretto. The former NFL offensive lineman has consistently preached consistency to his players.
You know, a lot of it is just being consistent, and it's staying up with the times, really. It really is. And what we do is, you know, we're consistent with these guys. They know that we love them. We show them love. We're hard on them, you know, and we're there to discipline them when they need discipline. But they're starting to see the big picture, and that's what's starting to happen. You know, when I got there, it was a program that was kind of in disarray. It was, you know, it is what it is. And with these guys, all the credit goes to them because they're believing in it, they're speaking it, and now it's starting to happen for them.
So St. Francis is starting to see the big picture. A big picture that they hope comes with a lot of wins. They'll get the first chance to secure a win September 5th against Georgetown at home, live, NECFrontRow.com. And for the final snap in our No Huddle preview, it's on to the Wagner Seahawks. There will be no warming up for Wagner in Week 1. The Seahawks are going right into the fire, taking a step up and playing Rice, an FBS member of Conference USA. It will mark the second consecutive season that Wagner faces a CUSA opponent. It's the 4th straight year that the Seahawks have matched up against a member of the Football Bowl subdivision. Although FBS members have more scholarship players and bigger stadiums, Wagner defensive tackle Al Page still expects to succeed in that arena.
Well, I would say we're not intimidated because, you know, at the end of the day, yes, BYU is a bigger program. They have They have elite athletes indeed, but everyone is the same man. Everyone uses the bathroom. Everyone wakes up. Everyone goes to sleep. Now, it's any given Saturday, any given Friday. Anything can happen at any given moment. So we go out there and we prepare to details and we give it everything we got. Anything can happen. I believe that we can do. If we do the best we can do, who knows what can happen. And we're not intimidated by the name or the school, because we're going to go out there and play to the best of our ability. It's football, and we're going to have fun.
Page and his mates should be excited for the challenge at head, as well as the 2015 season in general, because they return a number of key cogs from a defense that was ranked in the top 10 in FCS 1 year ago. Page, a preseason FCS All-American, is the centerpiece of that defense up front, but he'll have plenty of help behind him with veteran linebackers Greg Hilliard and Matt Barnett. And don't forget about the battle-tested D'Angelo James in the secondary. The Wagner defense will look to set the tone at Rice in Week 1 and beyond. After sprinting up the field in our no-huddle preview, it's time for a much-needed Twitter timeout. In this segment, we'll feature one key NEC football-related tweet and explain to you why it caught our interest. The first Twitter timeout of the 2015 season goes to Wagner's Jared Judone. Judone, a first-team All-NEC cornerback last year, recently graduated, but he's still keeping tabs on NEC football. In the spirit of NEC pride, Judone used his Twitter account to wish a former rival best of luck for the upcoming season. A great cornerback and a classy guy. It's good to hear from you again, Jared Judone. We went through the no-huddle preview. We took our Twitter timeout. One more segment to go, X's and O's. It's time to take a closer look at one player on the offensive side of the ball and another on the defensive side. We'll start on offense with the Duquesne Dukes and starting quarterback Dylan Beagle. This young man was en route to an historic season in 2014. Through the first half of last season, it looked as if Beagle was going to take down the Northeast Conference's all-time single-season passing record. Unfortunately, injuries derailed the second half of his 2014 campaign, but he's back, healthy, and ready to go for Jerry Schmidt and company. Just how good was Beagle last year as a sophomore? Well, he played 6 games in their entirety. In 5 of those 6 games, he passed for at least 320 yards. Although the 6'4" Beagle may look like your traditional drop-back pocket passer, he's got wheels too, and will tuck it and run if the situation is right. Mobility, along with a strong and accurate arm, are pretty good tools to have for a starting quarterback. Moving over to the other side of the ball, the focus is on Sacred Heart in the linebacking core, specifically junior Kevin Barry. Barry was Sacred Heart's second leading tackler a year ago, behind only safety Gordon Hill, who is now with the San Diego Chargers. Barry, who made 81 stops last year, made 15 hits for a loss. And guess what? He wasn't even named preseason all-conference. That's a testament to just how deep and talented the SHU linebacking core will be again in 2015. So there are plenty of reasons to be excited if you're a Pioneers fan, and those reasons start with Kevin Barry and the boys in the linebacking core. So after 9 famished months without Northeast Conference football, it's finally back. all 7 teams will open the 2015 campaign in Week 1. The fun is just beginning, folks. We'll be here with our NEC football coverage all season long on Front Row, the weekly Whole 9 Yards preview show, our live event coverage, and of course on Tuesdays, the Super 7 top plays of the week. So until next time, I'm Ralph Ventre for NEC Front Row. Happy football season.